Kusambo, and welcome to Dawai Kudroen. My guest tonight is Honorable Minister of Information and Communication, Mr. Nandalal Rai. Your Excellency, thank you so much for finding time to be here on this show. First thing, maybe I should start on a lighter note. Your Excellency, what I heard was whenever Your Excellency gets worked up with any matter, or whenever you're not too happy, or whenever you're not too really sound about people around you, you tend to tell people that you want me to show my military face. Is it true? What would be that military face?
First and foremost, Dawa, thank you very much for inviting me to your show. I think your show has been one of the biggest eye-opener in this democratic process of governance and all that, where you not only provide us visibility, but you do definitely provide us, the people, for us to be exposed in whatever way that we are and what we are and who we are. Now, to tell you about this, my two face, frankly speaking, I have got only one face. And I always tend to show and want to show who I am, what I am. And I cannot be more different than that. No, I do have emotions. And many times I have more emotions than many other colleagues who has been in the civil service or in other arena, because in a military phase I definitely say a tough and a hard face and all that, because their life mattered almost on, let's say, minute to minute and hour to hour basis and all that. It's on that line we had to be quite aggressive to get things done, and while at the same time quite persevering.
Yes.
And I show emotions. I'm a very, not only emotional, and I've got lots of passions in whatever I do.
So, Your Excellency, one must understand that whenever Lyonpo Nandalal says, I'm going to show my military face, you better be careful, because that's when I'm going to get aggressive.
I do not also remember saying that I show my military face, but maybe at times when I talk, they try to relate my language. Many a times my language does come rough, and many times people do not understand the language I speak in. So I am trying to make amends and I am trying to rectify. In the last 4.5 years, I did like that. Not that I want to be friendly all the time and get nothing done. There's no way. I have to mean what I say. That's what I try to do all the time. And I do not work with an agenda. I don't believe many of us don't work with agenda. We work with the simple belief and knowledge of to get things done. And many a times one is more persevering and one may be more forceful. That could be the only difference.
Yes. Your Excellency, a big shift in career, a military man to a politician. And because of that big shift, do you at times regret for having joined politics? Because I was told that you never wanted to join politics, but you ended up not only as a politician, but a member of the cabinet.
This is one of the, I definitely say, quite interesting questions and all that. It's on the line that I frankly say, I've been saying that I joined politics by default. It's not that I was interested in politics, but basically I was personally interested in interacting with people in military life. On day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, we interacted physically, personally with people who are serving in the same organization. We were a close unit of people in the army. So when I shifted to political career, it was not a huge shift and all that, because it was more intimate interaction between people and me. That's what I love, and I did all the way in my military career. The only difference was the way I had to talk. That side and this side was the difference. I quickly learned, and learned well, I suppose. That's the way I feel and all that. My aggressiveness has toned down to a considerable extent. That is my belief. Then I don't know how people have perceived my behavior change. My behavior changes, but my perseverance is not changed.
Yes. Your Excellency, now coming to some of the specific questions that are related to your ministry. first thing, now what is happening to DTH? Now this was supposed to come a long time back. In fact, I had one of my programs where I had two officers from your ministry coming live on television, and we had some discussions. And during those discussions, I was of the view that talking to some people who have knowledge about television felt that if we are going to introduce DTH in Bhutan, which is already in operation illegally though, is going to actually have more people have access to television. But on the hand side, one must look at the negative aspects of having DTH. That would only mean cultural dilution or cultural invasion to our remote communities. These are some of the issues that I raised. But the two gentlemen or the officers who were on the program said, this is never going to happen. Monitoring is going to be very easy. Then people somehow tend to believe that I was supporting cable operators because I must be receiving some free cable services, which never was the case. But today when you look back, people thought that it's going to come soon. It never came. What is happening?
We made a statement in the parliament in 2009. I, on behalf of the government, after discussing in the cabinet, we made a statement. I, on behalf of the government, made a statement that DTH we will process and let it happen. But we're not realizing there are many things beyond our control. We did all that which was within our control. And in spite of that, 3.5 years have passed by. We're still struggling. And now, recently we've heard, on principle, things have been accepted. And we hope sooner we will have this DTH in place and all that. However, on the aspects of cultural dilution and all that, I take it as it's a greater opportunity through which our culture can get enhanced. The content that has to start coming into BBS has got more opportunity because this DTH, when we mean, this DTH will come into Bhutan which has got BBS only. BBS is the bottom line. If it has got BBS, only that DTH will be permitted into Bhutan. It's on the line where it works. And when it comes to Bhutan, BBS will have more viewership, not only in Bhutan, elsewhere in the globe also. So BBS has to and needs to work on a more content. And BBS can, I think, outsource many of the activities in events, production, and so many activities. So rather than getting diluted, and it will get enhanced. And this portion of being diluted and all, I think we'll have to create a balance. And when you say balance, it's such a vague word. I will definitely say that how we go about, what we Bhutanese want is what we must be able to ascertain ourselves. No. And at the same time, by not wanting to have details, what is going to happen is we're not wanting our people to be cornered down in our own well and not see the globe outside and all that. And after seeing what is outside in the global world, then we should be able to decide by ourselves, within ourselves, what is good for us and what is not good. We don't need anybody to tell us what is good for us and what. We must be able to decide ourselves. And DTH is going to give us that opportunity. Like we are, many of us are aware, I think the whole nation is aware. See the movies that is being screened in Bhutan. I don't think so any foreign movies are being screened in Bhutan for the past couple of years. It is because our loyalty is with our system, our culture, our ways of life. We like to see our own people performing on the screen, how our village folks eat, interact with each other. It is how we can enhance through DTH our way of life and let the world know how we are and what we are.
Yes. Your Excellency, these are the advantages that you are talking about. But is it not the case of legalizing DTH simply because there are so many illegal DTH already in operation, and because you could not exercise proper control on this illegal existence of DTH, so the best option you thought was to legalize it so that everything gets null and void?
Thank you very much, Dawa. You put it so very nicely. Yes, those when you can't fight the system, you might as well join kind of thing also. There's so much of illegal activities on the DTH system is happening. So we want to ensure henceforth any DTH which is any of our citizens having in Bhutan has to have BBS content. And I don't know how many of the DTH systems have BBS into it. And then rest of it will be illegal. And that's the time we'll start, I'll definitely say now, clamping down. Once we have this legal DTH with BBS in it come into place in Bhutan. Rest of the BBA DTH must start upgrading or updating the DTH system they are having so that we are Bhutanese watching Bhutanese content to the DTH. And we got a choice. If you don't want to watch BBS to the DTH, switch it off, go to the next channel. This option we are giving to the people. Whereas in this present one, which doesn't have BBS in the DTH, present ones, the illegal ones, that we are not giving option to our people. Even if they want to watch BBS, there's nothing. That's the reason to avoid this illegal market system.
Your Excellency, moving on, domestic airports. It's going as per the manifesto of the deputy government. But have you actually done some serious feasibility studies? Because there are some individuals who say that, for instance, Lyonpo in Trashigam is never going to be a feasible or good airport. Yet, because the government has already had all these airstrips constructed, the operations like Druk Air and Tashi Commercial Air, they have no choice but to operate. And it's going to put the lives of passengers at risk.
Okay, thank you for this kind of question and all that. I hope I'll be able to provide slightly more clarity on how these airports came into existence. This was a vision and a dream seen, dreamt by our past leaders. And I am sure they did not dream it just like that. I mean, whether viable or not viable, it is for the service provider to be able to ascertain. But however, worrying about those viability or feasibility and we don't have anything in place, that means we may not walk out of our home also. This is the kind of thing. We must explore, provide opportunities for the people of Bhutan. And through this, many other activities gets enhanced and opportunity gets more for the people. We have seen it for the last couple of months when we operated the Bumthang and Tashigang one, Yongphula one. It was viable. Only thing is some sort of thing which was in the plan during the lean period, lean season of tourists or whatever, that we were going to upgrade it or resurface it. That was the plan. It's on that time we stopped the operations and all that. Now these two airports are in operation. And we will soon have also Yongphla 1 operationalized within a couple of days. That's the way we are planning. Feasible, not feasible. Worrying about that and letting our people not have another dream is what we did not, we were not worried about. We wanted people to dream more and more and wake up to make their dream be realized. Is that the way we thought to make our airports there? So many other activities will be emanating from this airport in Bumthang and Yongphla.
Yes. Your Excellency, one question would be, do we, in a small country like ours, do we really need this many number of domestic airports? That's one. Other one would be, now because the service providers were made to operate once and in between there were suspension of services, and that created some doubts in the minds of people, whether it could be due to safety reasons or it could be some other reasons or the feasibility reasons that the suspension was put into place. So this kind of problems that arose within the system created some kinds of doubts in the minds of the people.
Yes, thank you for this question. Now, suspension of services happened due to various reasons, many unknown. The known ones which we know is that the suspension has to happen because we had to upgrade the existing airport to a better level. That's the way we had planned when you started this domestic airport in both the places. So when you did that, the other issue came out, safety and all that. Now what the statistics have found out is that air travel is 22 times safer than road travel. This is the world statistics which I'm talking about. And besides that, what it saves us is time. And what it saves us is further, the limited human resources that we have in our country can be utilized to the optimum. Going to Tashigang, when you want to plan a delegation of some sector to go to east, we'll have to plan for 1 week minimum. Whereas when you have air service there, they will go today, have a meeting tomorrow, come back day after tomorrow. The limited human resources, expertise, we can use them elsewhere also. This is the advantage we have. And the air travel is also, with this present rate also is going to be cheaper than by road travel, the DA, DSA and all that you pay, the higher charges for vehicle and all that. It is going to be much cheaper. Even in Bhutan, in Gelabu, it's going to be a little bit expensive by about multi of $500. That's about it. And the bigger thing is that we save human resources and utilize them all around to the optimum. And our civil servants will land up working much more effectively and at a more cost-benefit advantage.
Yes. Your Excellency, now will it not be the case of government officials using all these air services because the expenses are borne by the government, and private individuals may not necessarily go or use these services because one may not necessarily afford it? Will it not be the case?
Yes, true. It's on that line. When more and more people travel, the volume of air travelers increases means that the sustainability of the sector also gets enhanced. And accordingly, the tariff, the fares will start coming down. So it becomes affordable, starts becoming affordable to the normal citizens also. So they will avail the facility. So the volume increases means the tariff decreases. This is the inverse ratio of more people traveling and less rate. The air service has to sustain their operational cost. Besides that, they'll have certain percentage. The more travelers means the sustainability is getting enhanced. So it's in an indirect way of more civil servants traveling. If civil servants travel by road also, TA, DSA, and plus vehicle hire charges will have to be paid. This comes to some amount, let's say $10,000. Suppose you travel by also to east, if you travel, you may pay only $8,000. The advantage which we have created is that we have used those human resources which we got limited. Daji in Zongastan, I said we got Milo Parigal Mindu. So limited human resources. Expertise are even limited. We can use them there also, we can use elsewhere also. And at the same cost, if not cheaper. So more civil service traveling means it becomes more affordable for the rest of the fellow citizens. That's what they are going to do. So whether this normal citizens will travel or not, definitely time will tell. When the air service provider starts coming down with their fares, they will definitely come down. I am sure.
Will it never come down, sir?
It will. It is. We have negotiated, had a dialogue with Truke at the present moment and all that. We have put up to the government for the civil service to be able to fly by air, because it is cost benefit is much comparable. Also, it's on the reason so that it becomes sustainable to the air service sector. Besides that, volume of passenger increases means it becomes it becomes cheaper. So accordingly, the service provider, particularly in this case, Truke, they will also not fleece the people of Bhutan. No, they will also take their corporate responsibility, simultaneously social responsibility. Also, it's their mandate. And so on that line, the fares have been, I think, brought down. With more travel by civil servants means, let's say, 1,000 or 1,500 civil servants flying in the air means it enhances their operational sustainability. Accordingly, then more normal people or business people will fly, means more passenger volume. So tariff will definitely start coming down. Volume increases means the tariff goes down. This is the normal practices or business practices and all that. And besides that, as a corporate and social responsibility, Turkey is also taking this thing very seriously. And that's why they've given us a special rate when we encourage the civil service to fly.
Your Excellency, moving on, RTI, there's some debate,
yes,
formally and informally, yes, on the need of RTI. Yes. Your opinion on this?
My opinion has been, I will not waver from this opinion on that. It is the need, but it's now the questions of timing. Now, RTI, most of us are taking one-way traffic. This RTI is a two-way traffic. We think RTI means you can poke into my cupboard and find out. No. You see, RTI means that I must be able to find out something which is of public concern, not individual concern. Many of us are thinking my individual concerns should be mitigated through RTI. No, it's a two-way responsibility that we must think. Right to information comes with right to responsibility also. This is where I think we're making many mistakes. Having an activist kind of thing on the RTI. RTI gives you more restrictions than the one which freedom that we're having just now. I may want to probe into certain document. I have to have logic and reason. And there are process and procedure that has to be followed. At the moment, we are almost working with the procedure less and all that, and on need basis, we are providing so many information which you may not get it when the RTI actually comes in place. This is how the rest of the globe has faced this situation. We have learned from their experiences, and they found that's why these RTI activities are leading sometimes the society in a different path altogether. So to get their prominence. Is it to get prominence that you want to have RTI, or you are trying to get an RTI for the benefit of the people or society? And the timing of this is very critical in this young democratic governance of our time.
Yes. In some cases, Your Excellency, it has been quite difficult for media to get information from some agencies. That definitely is in the interest of the public. So having RTI, wouldn't it help?
I would say yes and no. Now, one thing I'll tell you that you said some, but many of the media are getting some information we ourselves don't know. You see, with ITI, these people will be charged. They're getting out information which was not supposed to be in public domain for a particular period of time. You see, many information has to be in public domain within certain period of time, or certainly may not be. I would not say there's top secret things around, but the fact of the matter is that there are certain things known as priority base or confidential base and all that. When public needs to know, government of the day must be able to give it. Not that somebody digging out something which was not supposed to in public domain for a certain period of time, so that they destroy people's thought process, thought line, another line. Many of our media, some of the, I will not say many, some of the media houses are working like they're digging onto issues and documents which was not supposed to dig up. They will be taken to task by the law, you see, with the ITI in place. It's a two-way traffic.
Yes, Your Excellency, one final question. I do have some other questions as well, but maybe I can reserve these other questions for some other time. But one last question, Your Excellency, you and your ministry actually had, to some extent, a bad experience with one of the media houses, that is regarding the distribution of advertisement. If you were to comment on this, now the letter clearly states that that particular media house should not be given any advertisement funding or any advertisements from the government, and that somehow with all those media write-up and articles, one must easily believe that there's some sort of discrepancy there, and which is not actually in favor of freedom of expression. Your comments, sir.
Thank you very much. I have got such a wonderful opportunity now to state categorically what had actually transpired, how it has actually happened. No, they said miscommunication. There is no question of miscommunication. It is a question of understanding and misunderstanding is what has happened. No, we took a certain decision. This decision was taken bearing in mind 2006 circulations of our finance resources from the finance ministry, 2006, 2007, and I think 2010. It was keeping in those norms that our British media has been too much spoon-fed. Now we must be categorical in where we give advertisement. So do not give media to anybody, everybody. It is not a top tongue. The moment it starts becoming a top tongue, then we are in problem. Our media house will take the government of the to ransom. If you don't give us advertisement, we will write whatever we feel like. And we will always put the government of the day in a corner. The media houses think they have to sustain through the advertisement of the government. That's the wrong perception and the wrong concept to have come into existence. It looks like they did not have a plan of their own for their own sustainability. So they're arm twisting the government to give them advertisement.
But
it cannot be done.
But Your Excellency, the issue was so much about targeting one particular media house. This is what
no, the media houses split among themselves to, what do you say, rally behind each other for the wrong cause or the wrong reason. You rally for a logical point and a good reason, whereas media houses rallying together for a wrong cause and wrong purpose for the misunderstanding created. How it was conveyed, how it has come about was an issue But what I'm telling you categorically is that we kept in mind, and how I made a statement with my officers is that be mindful where you give advertisement. You cannot give media houses to all the Buddhist media people. It is not a top tongue. You see, we must be mindful of the circulars because the finance resources limitation that we have. It's on the line, exactly not on the line of selectiveness. We said on the reach, on the level that we must give where it's who the target is intended for. So the Buddhist media doesn't have top tongue of getting advertisement everybody. It's on the line, it was said. And how it was misunderstood by particular officer, particular agency was the thing. And beyond that, what the large issues come about is that this misunderstanding statement has come about in the media houses themselves. Now, there's a larger question, how it came about. Where is the responsibility of the chap who has leaked out or let it out to the media houses? Where is the ethics, codes of conduct that individual civil servant who has ever done it? He has to be more answerable to anybody else. It's one we must be more.
Did you find out and
about.
question that individual?
We
Because
did.
you must have by now
We
known.
did, but no, it is rather than me questioning and taking some time. I'm not going to be vindictive. You see, the accountability must be created by the media house themselves. It is no question of protecting source. It's a question of protecting the ethics and principles of an individual or of an organization. It's what the crux of the matter. Where the media house is keeping silent because they got a thing misinformed document which is misinterpreted. You see, where is the media's role there? You want to create accountability one way only. You don't want to create accountability to the other side. You all are being more selective. Is this the way? Is this the way you gain credibility? We need to question ourselves. We must question our inner soul.
Yes. Yes. Your Excellency, thank you so much for your time. In fact, this debate is going to go on and on, but in the interest of time, I'll have to stop here. Thank you so much for your time. And in fact, we did have that particular individual who actually felt targeted on one of our shows get his views across. Thank you so much. With this, we come to the end of Dawai Kudroen. It's time to thank all the viewers for now, but next Wednesday we will come up with another guest. Till then, it's time to say good night and to stay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dawa.